Welcome to another episode of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. I'm Jason Holcomb, joined as always with the coach. Coach got that first W of 2021. Hard fought one at that. Got to give it up to the Wheeler County Bulldogs. They played a fantastic ball game for us. But Coach, tell me, what were the key plays and key players that helped us come away with that win?
Well, Jason, it was anytime you win or anytime you lose, it's a full team effort. And I thought the other day we played very much like it was the first game of the year again. We played like we had been quarantined for several days and had trouble getting kids back together. I don't think sometimes people want to give your opponent the credit that they're due. We thought Wheeler County, although they were undefeated, they had not played great competition, but they were undefeated, so their kids were playing with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of confidence. They came out, gambled a little bit early, tried to fake a punt on us. I guess you could say it was there, but the pressure that we were able to bring and the fact that they didn't execute well broke that one open on them. Gave us the ball down there on our end of the field right out of the gate. It was tough, but we were finally able to punch it in. We had way too many penalties. I think we had 12 penalties that negated and stalled and just kept you from ever getting a rhythm. The young man, I think, that made the biggest strides from game 1 to game 2 was our fullback in Jeremiah Green. Made a couple of just phenomenal runs, a long touchdown run that was not there, and he created on his own and turned it into a touchdown. We had to make a few changes. Midweek, we ended up making a change. We moved Caleb Hall over to our left tackle. Our left tackle there had suffered a severe deep bone bruise in his hand in practice on like Wednesday, and he's cast it up. But we slid Caleb over to tackle and went with Nasir Johnson, a sophomore at center, and he made some mental mistakes that hopefully, he's going to get better on those type of things. And then our tight end was out. So when you go across the front, 3 out of the 6 were new. I didn't think that our running backs, quite frankly, played their best game of the year. Although from a rushing standpoint, it wasn't bad. But execution and blocking, being a total player, was not at the level that we needed it to be. Defensively, we did not run and hit. We didn't tackle well. We came up with some big plays. We created a fumble. Quarterback was scrambling, and our defensive end, Dennis Wilcher, made a sack from behind or tackle from behind and ripped the ball out. That was a turnover. Then we got 2 picks. Those were both big. One of those was Trey Baldwin. The other one was Ty Wright. And, at the end of the day, they moved the ball at times. Of course, obviously, they went for it on 4th down with a fake punt and didn't get it. So, defensively, we made timely big plays, but we really did not run around and hit people like we needed to.
Sounds like opportunistic defense is what you described.
That's kind of it, yes, sir.
But we want to be excited because we got that first win. We're going to talk about what's coming up next. But first, we need to check out our Optum Player of the Week. Well, Coach, you talked about him earlier in the show. Jeremiah come out here, and he's actually been making some plays for us all season so far. Talk about what he brings to the Irish.
Well, Jeremiah is a young man that played and didn't finish the season his freshman and sophomore years. He came out last year with a really good attitude, and it was like all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it the way it needs to be done, and I want to be a football player. We ended up moving him to fullback. He's actually probably the fastest guy on our football team.
Wow.
He can really run, but it takes game experience. It's a whole different deal, and he really made a lot of progress from game 1 to game 2. And if we can ever get him to where he's confident He understands the system and what his role is in the system. We've got a chance for him to be something pretty special, and was glad that it worked out for him, certainly.
Well, we're glad to see him out there just getting all over after it and doing some great things. And we want to thank our folks at Optum for giving us a chance to celebrate a player every week. And hopefully we're going to have some more celebrations this week. But we have to bring our A game against one of our oldest rivals. Everything I hear is big, strong, and athletic. So we're
fast.
So the
They got a
Swainsboro,
couple of kids that just can absolutely fly. They were number 1 and number 2. They number 1 and number 2 in your program, but they're number 1 in their hearts, because those guys, they stretch the field with formations from sideline to sideline. Everything, 90% of their offense is off of the jet sweep type stuff, and 1 or 2 is usually going to end up with the ball in their hands, and they can get to the edge without any hesitation.
So we got to make sure that edge ain't nowhere to be coming to.
Well, it's tough because they, as I said, they spread you everywhere, and then their quarterback, they've always been one of those 50-50 run-pass teams, do a real good job with their balance, and it seems like this year that they do not throw the football as well as they've been able to throw it in the past. So they've gone more to the zone reads and the quarterback running the ball, and he's probably going to run the football 25 times from the quarterback position. So big threat there, but if you go to sleep, then they'll throw one over the top and turn it into a
kind of
big
familiar,
play.
Coach. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard a similar game plan before.
Yep, that's it.
I'm not going to say where, but yeah, we want to make sure that folks come out. Friday night game this week, a 7:30 kickoff in Swainsboro. There's not a short way to get to Swainsboro's football field. You just kind of got to go down 80 and you'll get there eventually. It says it's only like 40 miles, but it always takes me over an hour to get there.
Yeah,
so.
it's a decent little ride, but a beautiful stadium, nice facilities. They do have parking for the visitors on the visitor side of the stadium. Right when you turn in, there's a sign there that says visitors parking. Turn down and it goes in and parks right behind the stadium. It's easy to get in and get out, and we hope we have a big crowd there.
We do too. We want you guys to come out and support these Irish. They're doing some great things. We want to keep this. We don't want this to be the first win until the next first win. We want to keep winning, and we need your support and all that. And Coach, before we close things out, we want to see who the winner is of this week's mustache matchup. All right, Coach. This week we're mixing things up again. I found a mustache that was a rarity. Some could say that it could be what they call an NFT. That's the new online trading cards. If you're not familiar, people are paying lots of money for basically a picture on the internet. But at any rate, let's go ahead and go to the matchup. Right now it's Bill Belichick, 1980s New York Giants defensive coordinator. Now, it's a rare picture. I'm telling y'all, it's rare. All right, and he's going to be squaring off against Tom Brady, but as you can see, it's not a traditional mustache. It's a milk mustache from a milk campaign back in 2002, I believe. So, Coach, who you got this week?
I'm going with Bill Belichick. At least his is real.
I don't blame you. And I was telling Coach before we got to the show that Tom Brady and I are probably follically challenged in the same way. There's not a whole lot of mustaching that we could do on here, or at least our brides probably wouldn't want us to keep one, so we're not going to have one. But we want to make sure that you keep around here all the time and watching 3rd and 3, and make sure that you support this team. We got home coming up here very shortly, so we want to make sure that you guys are ready for that. And keep in tune every week here on 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.